Hello, beauty. Today I'm going to show you 3 methods to activate and sharpen your intuition, break down the 6 most popular types of intuition, and teach you how to distinguish your intuition from fear. See, intuition is one of your greatest superpowers as a feminine being, and this isn't just about occasional gut feelings or random hunches. I'm talking about developing a consistent and reliable connection to your body's wisdom that can guide all of your decisions in life, from the seemingly mundane to the life-altering ones. So why is intuition challenging for some women to tap into? Well, in a world that overvalues the mind and analytical thinking, we've lost touch with this profound intelligence that lives in our bodies. Most women have been conditioned to doubt their intuitive hits, override their body signals, and give away their power to external authorities rather than trusting themselves. Consider how many times you yourself have overridden a subtle feeling that you had about a situation. This could have been about a job opportunity, a feeling about a person you were dating, or a social engagement you were invited to, only to later think, I knew I shouldn't have done that. These moments reveal that your wisdom was always there, speaking through your body's cues, before your mind could rationally process all the information. Your intuition is actually a sophisticated navigation system that integrates information far beyond what your conscious mind can process. It's drawing on cellular memory, ancestral wisdom, energetic awareness, and pattern recognition happening beneath the conscious awareness. When you learn to access this wisdom consistently, you move through life with a level of clarity and confidence and power that analytical thinking alone will never provide you. Now, if intuition is your natural birthright, why might you struggle to hear its voice? Well, for one reason, the approaches to intuition are either too mystical, in my opinion, making it seem like a special magical power that only certain people have, or it's too superficial, reduces it to like a basic trust your gut advice without providing practical ways to distinguish between intuition and fear-based thinking. Many women have moments of powerful intuitive knowing, but don't know how to access this consistently or how to trust it when it contradicts with what might seem logical. Others have been so disconnected from their bodies for so long that they can no longer feel these subtle signals at all. Another common challenge that I see in a lot of the women that I work with is distinguishing between actual intuition and anxiety or people-pleasing patterns. It's easy to misinterpret stress responses or conditioned behaviors as intuitive guidance, especially when facing difficult choices. What I want you to know is that these challenges aren't your fault. We live in a culture that has systematically separated women like yourself from the wisdom of your body. And if you're ready, you can take this power back and begin to trust your body again. And what I believe is that when a woman is fully connected to her intuitive wisdom, she will make better decisions in minutes than someone spending weeks analyzing information alone. Because intuition integrates your analytical mind with your body's intelligence and your spiritual knowing. In this transmission, there will be no abstract theories or vague spiritual concepts, just practical embodied techniques that help you recognize, trust, and act on your intuitive wisdom. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to distinguish between true intuition and fear-based thinking in your body, the 3 primary channels through which intuition speaks and which one is the strongest for you, why your womb space is a powerful intuitive center and how to access its wisdom, and how to create the specific nervous system state that allows intuition to flow clearly. These simple practices will strengthen your intuitive muscle daily, even in mundane situations. And these tools will also help you transform how you make decisions in your career and relationships, set and maintain boundaries with others, how you connect with your authentic desires rather than what you think you should want. It's going to support you to navigate complex situations where the right answer isn't always clear. And it's also going to help you trust yourself completely, even when others disagree with your path. Okay, now let's get into the how and share my favorite methods for activating your intuition. First and foremost, you want to create nervous system safety. We talked about this in the repatterning phase of Embodied Spring. Intuition speaks most clearly when your nervous system is in a relaxed state. When you're stressed, anxious, or in a fight or flight mode, the intuitive channel becomes clouded by your survival mechanisms. Regular practice that regulates your nervous system creates optimal conditions for intuitive wisdom to emerge. So, as we know, the fastest and easiest way is through your breath. A simple box breath can do this trick. So if you want to practice that right now, simply inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then hold again for 4. As you can see, this is making a box. Then there is time in nature. 10 minutes among trees or near water can shift you into a more relaxed state and a more receptive state. Bonus points if you move in nature. And speaking of movement, movement is powerful, especially flowy movements like walking and dancing or yoga. This will help you release tension that can block intuitive signals. And lastly, sound. Sounds like humming, singing, or listening to certain frequencies can bring you into a more receptive state. I personally love listening to rain when I'm feeling stuck. So the second way to activate your intuition is through your womb space. The pelvic floor and your pelvic bowl and lower abdomen contain nerve clusters that process information differently than the brain. This area functions as a secondary processing center and what some traditions call the lower dantian or the hara. Regardless of whether you physically have a womb, this energetic center holds tremendous intuitive power. And you can still activate and wake up the womb through womb breathing. And for this, you'll simply place your hands on your lower belly and direct your breath into the space for 3 to 5 minutes. You can practice pelvic bowl scanning as well, where you regularly check in with the sensations in this area, especially when you're making decisions. And you can play with circular movements like gentle hip circles while standing or seated to activate the center. Or you can use your imagination. I love this. Just simply visualize a warm, glowing light in your womb, receiving information from the world around you. Now, the third method for activating your intuition is through body talk. Yes, this is exactly what it sounds like. Talk to your body and she will begin to talk back. This can look like daily body scans, moving from the top of the head down to the base of your feet. You can take about 3 minutes to notice sensations without judgment or labeling them as good or bad. I want to note that. And also ask direct questions. Ask your body simple yes or no questions and observe its response. There's also sensation journaling. This type of journaling is where you record physical feelings associated with different sensations, different experiences. This can be most helpful when you write about charged situations first, and then you can start to journal about less charged situations to fine-tune this part of your intuition over time. And then there's embodied decision making. Just like you would try on different outfits, you can try on different choices and notice how your body responds. Another method for activating your intuition is through identifying the way or ways you most naturally intuit. Because intuition can speak through multiple channels. And for instance, the channel of the body is known as clairsentience. And this is one that is strongest personally for me and shows up through the way of like physical sensations. For example, when somebody is speaking and I get goosebumps, I know there's resonance and truth there. I've even started to call this phenomenon truth bumps. And this might be something that you experience as well. And then there is the channel of pure knowing, known as claircognizance. And for some women, this comes through a direct knowing, a sudden insight or download of information, that moment where you just know something. There's also the channel of seeing, known as clairvoyance, and this comes through visual images or symbols. There's a channel of hearing. This is clairaudience and will come through words, phrases, or sounds that you hear. And then there's the channel of smelling, known as clairalience, where information will come through like meaningful scents or odors that are not physically present. These smells often carry significant messages or indicate a specific presence. And then there's the channel of tasting, known as clairgustance, where you experience taste in your mouth. and without even having eaten anything. And this is often connected to intuitive information or messages. And so you probably have one or two of these primary channels where intuitive information comes most clearly, and all of the channels can be developed and strengthened over time. So if you don't already know which one comes most naturally, experiment with each channel through simple exercises. For example, ask a question and then notice if you receive a feeling or an image or just a sudden knowing or a sound in response. Another method for activating your intuition is through mundane intuition training. I love these practices. So this is where you practice with low stakes decisions so that you can build your intuition muscles over time to make bigger, more significant ones. One way to do this is next time you go out to eat, use the menu to feel into which food your body truly wants and needs. You can do this by reading the item out loud or visualize it in front of you and notice how your body responds. You can also do this with route selection. So when you have more flexibility in your day, when you're walking or driving, follow your subtle impulses to guide you which way to turn. You can also do this with your day-to-day choices to practice building intuition. And this can be from what you wear to when you make a phone call. Like all of this, you can practice tuning into your body to make these decisions. Okay, now that we have those practices, now the question I get the most: how to distinguish intuition from fear? The first way to know the difference, right? The first way to know is between the two. It's a quality that's experienced in your body. And what I mean by that is that intuition and fear have distinctly different qualities when experienced in the body. Intuition feels clear, calm, and neutral, even when guiding you away from something. It has a quality of quiet certainty without a lot of emotional charge. Fear tends to feel frantic, heavy, or constricting, and is often accompanied by racing thoughts and worst-case scenarios. So a practice you can do when facing a decision: close your eyes and scan your body. Note the quality of the sensations. Are they calm and clear, or are they agitated and heavy? Once again, make sure you are doing this exercise from a neutral or relaxed state, otherwise your read can be off. Another way you can know the difference between intuition and fear is through bringing awareness to how the sensation responds when you give it attention. Intuitive signals typically persist or become stronger when given attention. When you focus on an intuitive hit, it often becomes clearer rather than dissipating. Fear-based thoughts usually can't withstand thoughtful attention. They begin to unravel or intensify in an anxious way when examined closely. You can practice this by noticing a strong feeling about a situation. Bring your full attention to the bodily sensation. Does it stabilize and clarify, or does it escalate and dissipate? Another way to discern is to notice if it expands or contracts. The energetic quality of the sensation in your body matters. So intuition often creates a sense of expansion in the body, even if it's saying no, right, to something. You might notice deeper breathing, your shoulders relaxing, or a sense of opening. Whereas fear typically causes contraction, which can show up as your muscles tightening, restricted breathing, and a closed feeling in your heart or throat. And an easy practice for this: when considering options, notice whether your body expands, opens, relaxes, breathes more deeply, or contracts, tightens, restricts, closes down. You can also play with the timeline visualization. Now, how a decision feels projected into the future can reveal whether it's intuition or fear driving the response. Visualize yourself having made the decision and living with it for 1 week, 1 month, and then 1 year from now. Notice the body, right, and the sensations at each point. Fear-based decisions often feel temporarily relieving, but worse in the long-term visualization. Intuitive decisions might feel challenging in the short term, but increasingly aligned in the longer visualizations. Practice this one by visualizing the timeline of living with each option and track your body's response at different future points. The last test you can do is known as stillness testing. This is one of the most simple ones. Creating complete stillness can help separate intuitive signals from mental noise. Sit in complete silence for just 3 to 5 minutes, focusing on your breath. After establishing stillness, bring the question or situation to mind. Notice the first subtle response in your body before your mind begins analyzing. The first response is often your clearest intuitive signal. Okay? So next time you make a significant decision, create a period of stillness to receive the clearest intuitive response. All right. As we close this transmission on intuition, I want to remind you that this wisdom isn't something outside of you that you need to acquire. It's already within you, and it's waiting to be remembered and trusted. Begin today with just one of the practices we've explored. Notice how it feels to reconnect with this part of yourself that may have been silenced or forgotten. Be patient and gentle with yourself as you strengthen this muscle. Your intuition is one of your most powerful gifts as a woman, and when you learn to hear its whispers and honor its guidance, you'll find yourself making decisions with more ease, creating boundaries with more confidence, and moving through the world with a deep sense of inner knowing.